Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Helping the enemy. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. It is day 11 in the Iran hostage situation. That country has humiliated the 15 British service people they kidnapped, and the world really doesn't care. That's because, somewhat incredibly, the USA and Great Britain are looked upon by many as the major threats in the world, not the Islamic fascists. Here in America, the far-left extremists are running wild. Over the past few days, I've interviewed a number of radicals on the factor so you could see just how far out they really are.
John Yoo, one of the top lawyers of George Bush's administration, said in a public debate that George Bush has the right to torture somebody, including, I quote, by crushing the testicles of their small child in front of them.
I think that what we have done in the Middle East, we have been our worst enemy. We're creating more and more enemies every single day.
So we provoked Iran? We provoked them?
Absolutely. We look at what we did in Iraq.
But interesting, with the British sailors, there were 15 British sailors and Marines who apparently went into Iranian waters, and they were seized by the Iranians. And I have one thing to say, Gulf of Tonkin. Google it.
Well, Ms. O'Donnell and her radical pals are basically telling the world the USA is a criminal nation, and that no matter what provocations are lodged by Iran and others, it will always be America's fault. This is grossly irresponsible and flat-out dangerous, but believe me when I tell you that millions of people all over the world are buying this garbage. A new poll in Germany, for example, asked who's the biggest threat to world peace, the USA or Iran? 48% of Germans said the USA, 31% Iran. Incredible. O'Donnell and actor Charlie Sheen are also peddling the 9/11 conspiracy theory that the attack on the World Trade Center was an inside job. Never mind, that nonsense has been debunked by popular mechanics using scientific evidence that is beyond dispute. O'Donnell and Sheen are in it because they hate Bush, not because of any truth-seeking. Today's Investors Business Daily newspaper labeled Miss O'Donnell Tokyo Rosie, editorializing that her anti-American propaganda has reached hysterical levels. Now, Miss O'Donnell isn't smart enough to realize that while she is demeaning her own country, the one she's hurting most is herself and the company that pays her, ABC. Americans always turn away from haters, always, and that's what Miss O'Donnell has become. Summing up, the radical left has to be held accountable because it's distorting the truth, putting American military people in even more jeopardy abroad, and even intimidating politicians like John Edwards and Bill Richardson. This is a group that has now burrowed on to the mainstream stage and is doing damage. Personal story segment tonight. Rosie O'Donnell and her posse are off this week, but anger is growing over her anti-American comments, like the British hostage situation is a setup job by the USA and Britain, and 9/11 was an inside job. Now, some of the media are reporting that I called for Ms. O'Donnell to be fired by ABC. That is false, but it will be interesting to see if there are any consequences here. It was now to analyze Kirsten Powers here in New York and Michelle Malkin in Washington. See, now, I think that Disney's got a big problem now because you go over a certain line in America, you can't come back from that. You know, you start to accuse your own government of murder. You start to sympathize with the enemy, Iran. There's no coming back. You can call Donald Trump whatever name you want and not get hurt permanently. The things that she did last week, And Disney's going to have to deal with it somehow.
I agree with you, Bill. I don't know that ABC is ready to distance itself from Rosie yet. And I think that they've dug themselves in a very deep, deep hole because their immediate reaction last week when she trafficked in this despicable 9/11 conspiracy mongering should have been to distance themselves immediately because her question raising, as she likes to posture it, is really just a slap in the face to every single victim of 9/11 and their families. And I think we need to make explicitly clear who she is embracing. There are only 2 websites that deal with 9/11 that she has linked to on her own blog. One of them is called WTC7, and the other one is the Scholars for 9/11 Truth. These are the worst, most fringe, kookiest, discredited academic crackpots who believe that the Secret Service and the CIA planted a controlled demolition of that building. And if Rosie really wants to have an honest discussion and debate, I dare her, I dare Barbara Walters, I dare ABC to put on the editors of Popular Mechanics to set the people straight about what exactly happened.
But she's not interested in the truth. This is about hatred, and that's why I think Disney's got a big problem, Kirsten. This woman now has crossed the line into the hate territory. There's never been a successful media person in the history of this country that has crossed the line into hate. There are niche people on talk radio, very few on television. They're wiped out. But on her blog and in her demeanor on television, she is now a hater, and Disney's going to have to deal with it somehow, I think.
Well, I don't know. She's such a big celebrity that I'm not sure that they're going to want to get rid of her. And you look at the statement that ABC put out, it was sort of shockingly...
It was a milquetoast statement, but you expect
also,
that because they have to figure out how to deal with it. They're buying time.
Yeah, but I disagree. I think that the stuff that she said, I mean, Michelle just recapped the 9/11 stuff. You have to also consider what she was saying about the Iran situation. None of it, I mean, get her a subscription to a newspaper, any newspaper.
But she doesn't care
and you would know
that
everything she's saying is untrue, and they should have an issue with her just having basic facts. She can have her opinions, that's fine.
Okay, but now you're starting to agree with me. If ABC is a responsible network and they allow irresponsible people to put out propaganda, hateful propaganda that hurts people, ABC, Disney has a major problem, do they not?
Yes, they do. I agree, and I think that a lot of stuff she says up to this point is annoying. It maybe makes me angry.
Foolish.
But this in particular is just, she has nothing to back up what she's saying. She's making these claims about what's going on with these people who have been taken hostage, you know, and she's making claims that are completely unsubstantiated.
It looks to me, Michelle, that she is now working out some kind of neurosis in front of the country, which is fascinating viewing, by the way. So I wouldn't be surprised if her ratings, when she comes back from her Easter break or whatever break she's on, go up a little bit. Because she's working out this hate, whatever she's got in her, on her blog and on ABC. But you're not supposed to do that when you're a professional broadcaster. You're supposed to broadcast. You're not supposed to set yourself up as a hater, an anti-American figurehead, as she has. And that, see, I think both of you ladies are underestimating the folks here. I think the folks, and she's not coming back from this.
The folks should buy her a ticket to Iran, that's what I say.
Well, she lasts 10 minutes in Iran. We all know that. But it's not about Iran, it's about Rosie O'Donnell hating.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think that this is on Barbara Walters. This is on ABC management. This is on Disney, and this is on the sponsors of The View. You know, Excedrin is one of the sponsors, which I think is quite appropriate because every time she opens her mouth, I get a headache. But I don't think that ABC is going to react until the American people are fully aware of just how low she has scraped the bottom of the barrel, especially on this 9/11 conspiracy mongers. And again, I challenge Barbara Walters to buy a copy of Debunking 9/11 Myths, which was the Popular Mechanics book that challenged and debunked every single one of these conspiracy theories. Hand them out to the audience and let them decide.
We all know that, but you're taking
No, we don't.
You're taking O'Donnell's. You're giving it too much credibility.
No,
did you
hear?
Stuff.
Did you hear the audience? Did you hear the audience last week?
It'd be like discussing dining with Jeffrey Dahmer.
They all applauded
We don't want to know what his menu is. He's a nut. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to give Barbara Walters a pass because I don't think Barbara Walters has any control over this woman at all.
Oh, come on.
In fact, I know she does.
She sits at the same table. Bill, she's a friend of yours. Get her on your show. Ask her point blank. Do you agree that the Secret Service and the CIA blew up that building?
She can't control her, Michelle. I'm going to give Kirsten the last word. Go.
I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say? We pay you to say stuff.
No, but I think that, you know, I'm sort of surprised that you don't think Barbara Walters has control over her own show.
She doesn't. No one has control over O'Donnell. No one.
Well,
and that's what ABC's conundrum is. Ladies, as always,